So now let us know the Prime Minister as the leader of the Cabinet. What are his powers and functions? The Cabinet functions under the control of the Prime Minister. He is called the keystone of the Cabinet Arch, A-R-C-H-R. He calls for the meeting of the Cabinet whenever he likes, prepares the agenda for the meeting as well as controls it, presides over the Cabinet meeting. He leads the Cabinet in the Parliament, explains the policy and decision of the Cabinet to the Parliament, makes important statements on behalf of the Cabinet in the Parliament. So all these are the powers of the Prime Minister as the leader of the Cabinet. Now, who are the Cabinet Ministers? They are small in number and they are trustworthy and influential. Ministers very close to the Prime Minister, one who prepare the presidential address, one who come under the first category of ministers as we studied in Unit 1. So it is a work of the Prime Minister to look into all these particular matters of the Cabinet. So let's take a quick recap of this. The Cabinet functions under the control of the Prime Minister. He is called the keystone of the Cabinet Arch, calls for the meeting of the Cabinet whenever he likes or whenever a major decision has to take place, prepares the agenda for the meeting as well as controls it, or maintains the decorum, you can say, presides over the Cabinet meeting, leads the Cabinet in the Parliament, explains the policy and decision of the Cabinet to the Parliament, makes important statements on behalf of the Cabinet in the Parliament. Well, you have studied about the various powers and functions of the Prime Minister. Now let us know what is the meaning of individual responsibility and collective responsibility. Now let us see what is the meaning of collective responsibility. In simple terms, collective responsibility, according to you, it is collective. Everyone must be collectively responsible. Like, for example, taking a good name for the class. The whole class must be collectively responsible to earn a good name in academics, in sports, all around. And so the class itself gets a good name. So just like that, all the ministers jointly share the responsibility. The ministers must function as a team in supporting and defending the government policy inside as well as outside the Parliament. So inside the Cabinet room, they can differ with their ideas. But once the policy is out, they have to speak in one voice. But here it says that they have to support with the government policy inside as well as outside the Parliament. So when they have a support, what happens? They remain in power. Now, supposing if a vote of no confidence is passed against a ministry, what happens to the ministry? The entire ministry resigns, as you studied in Unit 1. So when the ministry resigns, the Prime Minister and the ministers resign, not the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House has to come out of his office or resign only when a new Speaker is being appointed. So the decision taken in the meetings of the Cabinet are equally applicable to all the ministers, even though they may differ among themselves on a particular issue. But they all should speak in one voice. Now, if they don't speak in one voice and if the policy is out and they differ with their ideas, a vote of no confidence motion is passed against the ministry and the ministry resigns. So collective responsibility, if it comes to 1 mark, how do you write? So all the ministers are jointly sharing the responsibility. The ministers must function as a team in supporting and defending the government policies inside as well as outside the Parliament. So a sure 1 mark question is, what happens if a vote of no confidence is passed against a ministry? The answer is very simple. If a vote of no confidence motion is passed against the ministry, the entire ministry resigns. So the key word over there is the entire ministry resigns.